What's going on, everybody? We're here with Session 2 of Dungeons & Dragons The North. We're about to get started here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and we'll just get it going. Just get it going. Hey, thanks. Appreciate you checking on that, Z. Whoa, what's up? All right, let's get this music turned down. Let's get the rest of the group in here. All right, then. Go. All right, everybody say hello.
Hello.
Hola. Hola.
Hello.
We are live with Session 2 of Dungeons & Dragons.
All right, everybody say hello.
Oh god, I hear me.
Sorry, that was my phone. I was just checking the audio.
Thanks for checking. Cool. Alright, so I got you guys currently on a map. This is where you guys ended up. But as you guys kind of look around and get your bearings straight, I'm going to read you a story. A tale of someplace else in this world. Somewhere in the world we see a drow. His eyes white and his gaze is sombering. He stands not perfectly upright, but tall and strong nonetheless. Clearly a warrior. On his pack hangs a large bow off his back. Silver designs inlay wind their way through the polished wood, clearly made from the Underdark. His armor is layered in leather. Carapace plates rest on top of the armor, kind of in a haphazard order, allowing certain spots to kind of protrude out a little bit from the others. On the pommel of his large longsword sits a polished stone, the handle wrapped in a leathery material clearly that of some of the creatures from the Underdark. To his left where he stands, you see down into a massive pit. The sheer walls descend into a darkness not even those with dark vision can see the bottom of. Up in front of him in the distance, we see he's in a massive cave. Clearly a former civilization, as the walls are carved and there appears to have been homes that are kind of carved into the walls that surround him. As he scans what surrounds him, we see a massive pillar up in the center of the ruins. Half of the pillar now broken off, it lays on top of the city that once surrounded. A massive castle ripped in two. The bottom half still standing there while the top half lays on its side. Off in the distance, we hear rocks and boulders kind of falling from all around. The homes that litter this landscape all but destroyed, crushed, or burned down. The place is clearly destroyed. Ruins of a location in the Forgotten North, long abandoned by a former race of people. With a sigh, we see this drow examine a broken dagger in his left hand. He shakes a piece of leather off of the blade, rotted in the ground from which it was buried, and blows some dirt off of it, leaving the golden item to shine leaving this item as the only item that shines in this dark cave. Looking it over, he nods approvingly. As he walks off towards the tunnels that leave this place, behind him we see a dug-up grave. The only grave in the area marked by the only gravestone in sight. It sits there in the ground, slightly crooked, with a shovel leaning close by. Now as we come up to you guys, you had pushed your way through the Frostfall path, but it was not without incident. Loss of life from the undead has already made its mark on your caravan, and all around you, the layers of the dead reminded you that a long time ago, quite the battle was fought here. It's about midday. You guys have been in the path, or on this side of the north for, I don't know, maybe only a few hours. All around you, campfires have been kind of set up. Makeshift tents have been put up quickly from the carts. And the caravan itself has kind of split off into groups. Some groups kind of kept going north to their proper locations, whereas the others stayed behind to help fortify. You guys have been giving a list of tasks. Number 1 on your list is to fortify the area. Currently, there are no defensive structures. There is no fencing. There is no anything. You guys have been kind of, not ordered, but asked by Captain Gregar to kind of organize those, the construction workers who have came with you guys and getting the area fortified. Number 2 on your list was to hunt for food. And number 3 on your list, and kind of goes along with number 2, is to explore the woods in the area. There have been early reports that suggest an old keep to the west, as well as ruins of some ancient group to the northeast. However, these locations are kind of unknown of their exact location. They were told mostly that rumor is previous groups had seen these locations previously. So here we have you guys huddled around the campfire in the afternoon. What are you guys doing?
I am going to be on somebody's lap. Who looks to
Probably
be the
these.
warmest?
Probably the furball.
Yeah, probably me.
That's not the furball.
I'll go here. This is where I want to go.
Whose cat is this?
Z, thank you for the host, man.
I mean, that's an excellent question, but maybe not the one we should be asking right now.
Yeah, it's not mine.
I suppose if we run out of food, it'll make for some good rations.
So, should probably do something. We were attacked by the undead, but you know, we're up here for a reason, so
It's true.
Yes, let's do this. I'll be back in a moment.
How much of our supplies did we lose? Or did we lose any supplies?
You didn't really lose any supplies. You definitely lost people. I think there was something like 15 to 20 various groups of, or not groups, but people from different groups were lost during the attacks. Most of the caravan moved on, though, to other locations north of here, kind of setting up like waypoints from this point all the way up to what was the former main town of Lordim. So you guys are kind of still in that rear caravan, hanging back to do other activities.
Did we get any kind of rest in since then?
Yeah, I mean, you guys had been sitting around the last more than a few hours now, kind of like helping set up campfires, helping people pitch their tents, and then it's up to you guys where what else you guys have been doing or are currently doing.
We got a short rest.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Okay. 4 hit points on me, so I'm back up to a reasonable health pool.
So, I propose we go investigate those ruins.
Sounds fine. I don't mind escorting you there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I wouldn't mind going myself, but I need to do a bit here and I'll meet up with you there.
Need to what?
I need to do some stuff here. Prepare some fortifications if you have it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we go to the west, there is a keep there. We could secure that.
Indeed. This is just temporary so that no ordinary undead can move a bit. And it goes...
Well, I mean, I'm an archaeologist. What do I know about military matters? Okay. So you're coming with me. Seriously, whose cat is that?
I have no idea. I saw it do some crazy shit, though. Going to be honest.
It must have been the stress of the tunnel.
I don't think so. I saw it kill some undead, if I'm going to be honest.
I mean, it's a cat.
I understand it's a cat, but I don't know.
I mean, it's a particularly fluffy cat at that.
It's true.
Maybe it's a shapeshifter. Oh,
Might be.
kitty, do you shapeshift? He like picks the cat up by the scruff of the neck and kind of shakes it.
I go limp.
Oh, it turned into that snake. I don't know.
It's one of those ragdoll cats, I believe.
As soon as he puts me back on his lap, I'm going to roll over and just fall asleep.
I mean, we can hold on to it for now.
This is not helpful.
Just leave it by the fire for now.
Also, when they can do that.
Okay,
You
so
have to make a willpower test to move the cat.
yeah, probably make it with disadvantage because it's being particularly adorable.
I don't know if that passes or fails.
Wait, what were
I
you
bet it
rolling
fails.
for? Sorry.
Willpower to move the cat.
To move the cat?
It's sitting in my lap.
Oh,
+8
right,
plus
right. No,
2.
you feel like you want to just move this cat off of you and maybe, get to work. There are building things that need to be built, so you need to help planning those things out. Hunting needs to be done. But, the controller's really far away and that cat looks really comfortable.
Can somebody take this cat?
If we can put in a tent, I guess. Okay, Saoirse goes over to try and pick up the cat. What do I roll for this?
Well, I mean, if the cat's just going to let you pick it up, you could just pick up the cat.
I will try to dodge.
All right, then why don't you roll
Dex save.
Well, it's a grapple. Yeah, you roll a save and she can roll a would it be athletics or
Athletics check.
acrobatics or whatever? Yeah.
It's acrobatics to dodge or athletics, and athletics to cat.
Okay, it doesn't go well.
I'll dodge out of the way, and then I'm going to climb up her back. And then I'm going to try to put myself into her pack.
This is
It's a lot of
exceptionally
things.
undignified.
Brew immediately gets up and goes, "Oh, okay, thank you," and
So
walks
this,
off.
this was not what I was intending. Did it climb inside my bag?
It definitely did.
It was latched.
Just kind of sitting back, looking really relaxed. Wesley's definitely amused by this whole thing.
My tail is still outside of the bag, and it's just flicking.
Okay, you know what? Whatever. So you and me, we're going to investigate the keep, right?
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good.
See if we can get anyone else to come with us, because
You don't think I can handle them myself?
no, I'm just saying the last time we went anywhere, we got mobbed by skeletons.
That's a good point. Really trust this place.
I
Probably
will go
better safe than
hunt.
sorry.
I guess we can take the cat with us if it doesn't want to leave your backpack.
Well, I need my cartography tools. That reminds me. Sisha wants to set up a marker here for reference for surveying.
Okay. How do we go about doing that?
I need a stick and some paint.
Well, I guess you can go ask the caravan master. Whoever has the supplies with him. If you didn't
Okay.
bring them with you. Here, I'll come with
I
you.
mean, I have the paint, but not. I figured I could get a stick up here.
Sticks all around us.
Okay, so Saoirse goes to find a especially sturdy stick. And finds somewhere up in the rocks here that'll be visible, sort of a promontory that she can lodge it, so it's visible from from around.
Okay, how much effort is she putting into like getting as high up as possible? Because these mountains are massively. I mean, they're tall mountains.
She doesn't need to get that high. She just needs a reference point that'll be visible above the tree lines.
Oh, so just above the tree line. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, with the slopes of the mountain, she'd be able to. Well, here, why? Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, with enough time and effort, she'd be able to do that without much of an issue. But you're gonna ask the caravan master for paint. You said, correct?
Actually, as long as we're going in the area, I probably don't need it. She casts a light on the stick, which I believe lasts for an hour.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So she does that, so she has a reference point. And then I guess the two of us, well, three of us, including the cat in the bag, head towards the keep.
Okay. So 3 of you are going to the keep. 1 of you is going hunting. I'm missing 2 people.
I'm fortifying.
You're fortifying.
Mainly by using this spell. I'm basically going around the camp using like if the target is stone, like dirt stone, I make it difficult to ground. I'm also cleaning up some of the snow.
Okay. Yeah. So you're essentially creating mounds, like berms around the campsite to prevent things from just walking in.
Yep.
Okay.
Grabbing that dirt that's loose, even if I have to excavate some dirt from the ground, I can build some more stuff. I like this spell.
Okay. Go to the keep. Sorsay, Wesley.
Saoirse.
Still don't have it down. Hunting is red. Fortifying is Zabus. Thing. Oh, I keep forgetting Brew. What is Brew doing again?
Oh, Brew.
Yeah.
He's actually gonna wander off because you said that they were asked to find food, right?
Yeah, okay. So you're gonna go hunt with Big Red.
Yeah. Hunt, scavenge, whatever you can find.
Okay. So the keep is somewhere to the northeast, I believe. It was.
Do you find a mushroom and immediately eat it?
Yes.
I wouldn't do that.
Do it.
Actually, let's see if I even know. Yeah, he would probably know.
Okay. Before we get to the whole hunting thing, let's talk about this keep. I didn't expect you guys to get into the north and immediately split the party 3 ways. So hang on a second.
Haha.
Joke's on you!
Yeah, right? I guess I should have expected it. It is the north. This happens quite a bit. I mean, why do you think
In my defense, I did try to gather more people.
Okay.
In my defense, I told them wait.
In my defense, I'm in a bag.
That is true.
Catnapped.
Well, in my defense, being in a bag isn't really the same excuse the rest have. So you choose to be in that bag.
Well, I am confined.
You put yourself there.
Voluntarily.
All right.
Volunteer.
Yeah, the keep was northeast. Okay. So as the three of you guys are heading out, Captain Gregor kind of like waves over at you and kind of catches up to you guys, and he runs up to you and says, where you guys heading out?
Just for some reconnaissance. I'd like to get to the keep and mark it so I can. If you look, I put a reference light up on the mountain there and measured the difference in height so that we can start generating accurate maps.
Ah, okay. That sounds useful. A lot better than well, anyway. Good idea. Okay, do you know where the keep is?
You said it was to the northwest?
Was it west? Sorry, I'm looking to see what direction I actually said. Oh, Old Keep to the west, that's right. Yeah. Sorry, to the west. Yeah, he says, all right, well, good luck to you. Report back. He says, oh, hey, actually, here, hang on. And he kind of like, he whistles really loudly. And a big hawk lands on his arm. And he says, here, take this.
I'll extend my arm.
The
Yeah.
hawk?
Yeah, the hawk kind of flutters over to Leslie's arm. And if you look at it, it's kind of like it's got like a little like hook on it, kind of hook, but little thing on it for like letters and information to be strapped to it. And it's basically a hawk meant to carry information to different areas. So he tells you guys that if you were to send this hawk back to us, and I'll let you guys be creative with the command word, but there's a command word that the hawk will know to come back to this point. So if you do need to send information, you can.
Okay. I have a command word.
Perfect.
Let's hear it.
The hawk will kind of like rest on your guys' shoulder or arm, but often it'll kind of like just float up into the air and kind of like fly with you guys. Kind of like keeping an eye on you. The hawk's name is Calloy. 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 Okay, and at that, you guys head off into the woods, into an unknown north. Tree line is dark, it is thick, and it is freezing cold. Hunting.
Do I need to re-roll my survival?
No, you guys actually are going to be hunting.
Do I have anything? I don't think I have anything to hunt with, to be fair.
Oh, well, you guys are the ones hunting. You can also gather
I
forage
was
if you
planning
want.
more of like foraging, but
Yeah,
I
that's
can
fine.
try and hunt with my monk skill. Oh wait, no, I have darts. I can throw darts at things.
Also an idea. Zabas, I see you drawing your fortifications. I assume that's what you're doing. Okay, because I am going to update the map based on what you guys plan. Based as time goes on.
This is the rust.
Okay, so they're leaving. You're spending time fortifying, and we're going hunting. Get over to the appropriate map for hunting.
The very sturdy, squiggly line walls.
Yep. Dirt walls. Best thing ever.
What about the gate for the back where the undead came from?
I put a couple rocks there, and there's just like a little cement, like tiny, like 10-inch hole that goes like 10 feet down. So if like pixies come, insta death.
Well, I'm more worried about the skeletons.
Pixies. Pixies.
You know what? I got a better idea. We'll make this a little bit quicker. Since you guys are split up, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time going over having you guys like in combat. Okay, so Red, you find a lot of sticks. You really don't find anything at all. You don't see any tracks. You're pretty well concerned that the North has eaten every possible animal in existence. But you're pretty sure these sticks are edible.
Man, there's nothing out here.
You're just not looking hard enough.
Get some pine needles. You can brew tea with it.
Wait, I'm assuming the one that description was for his one.
Yeah.
What do I notice with my 16?
You notice tracks and evidence of deer in the area. You also
See?
notice bushes that are like blueberries that essentially grow in, or not blueberries, but berries that can grow in the cold.
See, there's berries over there, and then there's I don't know what can I identify the track?
Roll another survival. We'll see if you're able to actually identify them. I
good
know I
at
already
this.
told you what they are, but
I don't know what they are, but they're tracks.
yeah, you're pretty sure. I mean, it could be a mountain lion. It could
God.
be anything.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Yeah,
other
There's
than a follower?
there's something out here. I don't know what it is.
Quick, shoot it and eat it.
There's berries over there. Are there a lot of berries, or are we talking like enough for like a handful?
You know, there's like a couple bushes, and you maybe get like, I don't know, yeah, like 60 berries.
I guess I'll make a note of where the berries are so we can report it. Just so we know that there's like bushes over here. I'm gonna follow the tracks.
I'll follow.
Fair enough. So you guys head off following the tracks. Now keep in mind, you guys are a little bit split up. So I'm going to describe as if, you know, you guys are, time isn't going to make sense, I guess is what I'm saying. The three of you guys, Sorche, did I say it right that time? I didn't. Siorche. Sirsha, right?
Yep.
Sirsha. Yeah, maybe I got it. Okay. Sirsha, Wesley, Mr. Fluffy Paws, bundled in your best winter gear, you guys trudge your way through the snow. For a minute there, you guys basically are plowing your way through some pretty deep snow drifts, but eventually you come across what had been described to you previously, which is kind of like an old path that kind of leads you guys. A good idea. It leads you guys in your path to kind of where this keep is. Eventually, you start hearing running water. As you guys kind of push your way through the woods. So go ahead if you want to say something.
Okay. Sirsha would like to locate the stream, and take a reading, using her cartographer tools, to determine where it is in relation to her light stick.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you very quickly come across the stream. It basically it's in your guys' path, to where you're heading to. Now you can go ahead and, I believe it would be a roll. I've never done cartography tools in a D&D game before.
I guess
maybe-
wisdom plus proficiency bonus.
And then I
It
think
should be like
your double I believe, because you're proficient in it. Don't you double it or something? Hang on.
No, you just add your proficiency bonus.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Okay, yeah. That's what I'm thinking of. So go ahead, roll.
It's just a cartographer tool check, isn't it?
It is. But I don't have that saved. So I'm just going to roll a perception, which is wisdom plus proficiency bonus.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, you're able to secure the river, basically describing where it is in relation to the camp. And you realize it's been probably a few hours of walking through the snow to the west. So you have a pretty good indication for a map.
Okay. I guess we go to the tree, the keep now.
Yep. Following the river down, you guys come across a, well, kind of like up in the distance, you see a massive, like, what would be like a former guard tower. As you get closer and kind of closer, you realize that the part of it had broken and fallen off into the river, causing the river to kind of roar a little bit louder in that area. As you kind of move around through the woods there and kind of get a better look at it, you see that the stone bridge that used to be there is essentially gone. All that remains is the beginning portions of it and a couple more like pieces of stone that kind of had created rubble all around that area. And on the other side, you see a large clearing, which is essentially covered in snow. And then off in the distance, you see the ruins of a keep, a former keep.
Okay.
Well,
Well, we should probably investigate the tower first.
sure. Cover our bases.
Yeah.
Seems like a good idea.
And if it's stable, we could go up and take a look.
Mm.
Maybe get a look at the keep from a distance.
Sure. Just try to keep our approach quiet, just in case there's something waiting for us, though.
Probably a good call. I'm warning you, I'm not good at sneaking. It's not really a skill set in academia.
I understand. I'm not too. I'm pretty good at it, but this armor tends to weigh me down.
Okay.
I would like to come out of the bag and sit on her shoulder and just keep watch on everything that's going on.
Watch it with the claws. Look.
I will nuzzle your head.
Very cute. Okay. I don't know if this guy's gonna help
very
her.
tall.
Doesn't.
Okay.
Sub goat.
So I guess stealth check then.
Yep. We're trying to approach quietly.
Yep. If you guys are approaching
make my-
quietly, definitely.
At disadvantage because of my armor. Oh,
That could be worse.
could be.
Mr. Fluffy Paws, are you attempting to remain stealthy during your ride?
I have to do a stealth check to make sure I'm stealthy while I'm riding on somebody being stealth.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you're meowing loudly, it's probably going to make things.
Oh boy.
See?
Your claws could
now.
give
Crit
something
fail.
away. Yeah, I mean, you never know what could happen. Not saying you're not being stealthy, but yeah, I wanted to roll to see what happens. here.
I'm also going to keep a vigilant watch.
Absolutely. Okay. So, approaching the tower, as you get closer, and actually, you know, with the with your keeping watch, your perception check would catch this probably first. The closer you get, the easier it is to see the decorations that surround these pillars, this kind of like former guard tower that stands here. And as you get closer to it, you notice that it bears the stamps of human construction, kind of like the logos and the symbols. and the god that the humans worship, suggesting that this is a former human keep that was used for some reason or another. However, you also notice symbols of a dragon that have kind of been carved into the bottom rows of the stonework that are kind of like shoulder high, I guess you could say, kind of carving over the designs of the human mark.
Okay, so I have the archaeologist background, which has a feature called historical knowledge, stating that, I guess this doesn't really apply, never mind. So I guess I'm going to roll a history check to try and determine any meaning to the symbols.
Okay, go ahead. So these symbols look rather familiar. You may have seen them or read about them at some point. So as Mr. Fluffy Paw kind of points it out, and kind of makes notice, you take notice of what they're looking at, or what the cat's looking at, and you look over at it, and it is definitely the symbols that were used by the Black Dragon Flight at some point in the past. These are the stories that are now thought to be legend and some event that influenced the lore of the world, essentially the foundation of the gods and essentially the dragons that used to rule at some point. Something else you're aware of, though, was that the Black Dragon Flight was part of the problem that happened in the north, some 200 years ago now. They're bad people.
Okay, hang on.
What?
Okay, so Saoirse, seeing this, immediately rummages around in her bag and pulls out a large sheet of paper and some charcoal and starts taking rubbings of the etchings.
Okay.
This is not a quiet process.
I'll just keep an eye out while she's doing that.
And as she's doing that, Mr. Fluffy Paw, you very easily react, which is what causes your nails to dig into Saoirse's shoulder, maybe causing her to that's the failed dex check, essentially. Yeah. Kind of creating a little bit of noise, and after this happens, just kind of like a pause and silence in the air. Not a bird, not the wind, nothing. Just complete and total silence as she just kind of like shades this symbol onto her parchment.
Are you sure that's a good idea right now?
I become a big fluff ball, and I start to growl.
Because I rolled so low, she's going to explain in detail that if this is used as any sort of watch post by our expedition, these carvings are going to become quickly degraded, and we have to preserve them now, or else we'll lose all access to them in the future.
Okay, but it's kind of loud. The idea here was to be quiet. Can't take your etchings later. I'm sorry.
She pauses for a second, thinks about it, and then puts the paper away. In part because she's focusing on it, in part because it's that thing where if you're trying to be quiet, it's very hard to be. The paper crinkles very loudly.
Okay. There's the element of surprise. Suppose we can just walk right in. There's a door to this tower, I imagine.
No, the door is gone. As you guys kind of are approaching it, you realize it's the wooden door is missing. You see that most of the tower has been destroyed from the outside in, I guess you could say. A lot of things happened here at some point. Off in the distance, though, as soon as she kind of gets done scratching, she kind of gets done, creating her outline. A large gust of wind kind of blows through, pushing a lot of the snow out from underneath your feet, revealing an awful lot of skeletons, an awful lot of dead. And then can you guys all roll a perception check?
Sure. Oh boy, starting the night off well.
Okay.
I'm assuming you mean only those
Oh no,
three.
them 3. Sorry. Yeah. So actually, yeah, okay. So Saoirse and Mr. Fluffy Paws
You got it.
especially. Maybe I got it right that time. Maybe Leslie, maybe you're kind of focused on like, militarily kind of figuring out what this tower is. Is it safe? Is it unsafe? Can we approach? Can we go inside? The other 2 of you guys kind of looking off in the distance a little bit, kind of as you're scanning around as this wind kind of blows and you look around at the ground, you catch a glimpse out of the corner of your eye and the keep way off in the distance in this massive clearing and this huge field that's out in front of it. You think you catch the reflection or the sight of something large kind of move its way, like to I guess you could say from the roof to maybe inside.
I growl louder.
It's pretty cold out here. This thing is actually kind of
Wesley, did you see that?
Super.
Something moved
Where?
on the roof of the keep. Not here. It's still far away off, but
Hmm.
The skeleton army were going to die.
All right, we should get inside this thing for now.
okay.
If I get to a window and outcropping, and make it easier to look without being spotted.
All right, so I
Okay.
assume you guys shuffle your way inside.
Yeah.
And at that, we're going to move back to Zebas, who has been very busily mounding up around the campsite here, I see.
I've also been telling some of the caravan team members to take some rocks and enforce like some of the walls here.
Okay, so it looks like you're having them put up a wooden gate at the front.
Not necessarily a wooden gate, but best we can in the time we have. So
Okay.
a couple stones, like difficult terrain, so I've like made it very jagged in how you can walk. If I can, then I'll get the gate up.
All right, yeah, all these things are going to take time to build. So your wooden things are pretty instant. Your mounds of dirt take a little bit of time, but you're able to do those on your own. Clear that area from snow. What does this over here say? Caravan.
It's some of the stones that we use to enforce the wall.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you're working. Captain Gregar is kind of like walking around with you, helping you out, helping order the others. Hang on. Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
Something making a really weird noise in my house. Oh my god, I think my cat's snoring. Hang on a second.
So, how you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you, dude?
I'm doing good.
Okay, I'm back. That was
Let's
weird.
do a little story time.
Oh,
What should we
wrong one.
talk?
This one. Not this one, this
Trivia.
one.
I like trivia.
There we go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Dang it. We didn't get to do trivia hour.
I know. My no, my cat was sleeping next to me, but it sounded like there was somebody in my house, like talking or something. I'm supposed to be home alone, so it's freaking me out. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's me.
see, get out of my house. Okay, you drank all the booze. I have none here. Go get your own.
What do you take me for, Max?
Someone who likes booze. And I don't have any because I drink it all myself.
Yes,
so.
you are right. I do like booze.
And I already drank all mine, so there's none here for you.
Dang it.
Anyway, sorry, that was extremely distracting. Okay, we're what were we talking about? The
Hunting.
yeah, okay. Yeah, you were building the mounds.
Yep.
The captain was working with you, so that's all going to take time to get put up. So you kind of outlined the plan of attack with that. You guys are so efficient. Okay,
Oh yeah, baby.
Brew and Big Red. You're tracking. Go ahead and roll another survival check as you guys kind of like look at these tracks. Brew, you kind of lose the tracks at some point here. And Red, you
Distracted.
you get them. You found them.
I see him going the wrong direction. I pull him and show him where the tracks are, and they're heading off the other direction.
So at that, you eventually come across a deer. You see it. Kind of off in the distance, perched on a little hill. Kind of like it's kind of like stomping at the ground a little bit, trying to maybe move some snow out of the way to reveal a leafy green plant it's eating.
You said it's at the top of a hill?
Yeah, it's like a little hill, not like a big hill. It's like a little hill.
Are we
You're
downwind or upwind?
You can roll it would be perception to figure that out, and survival if you want to get to a certain spot.
Jeez.
Ooh.
I mean, you're pretty sure you're downwind. You could be upwind. It's hard to tell.
How
So
how far away are we from it?
We're gonna say you're probably about maybe 100 yards out.
All right. Do you know how to hunt?
Not really, but well, it was worth a shot. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go invisible. Use my furball magic to go invisible, and then go around the other side of it to flank it.
I will go in the opposite direction, I suppose. Like the opposite flank of it,
Yeah, you're putting it in crossfire.
and try to be stealthy about it.
Okay. Both of you roll stealth. Red with red with advantage though.
I disappear.
Oh, that's sleight of hand. Sorry. Hold on.
Oh man.
Steal
Okay,
the deer.
16. It's the 16.
Okay. So, Brew, you're able to maneuver your way through the snow, but in a way to where this deer does not notice you guys. You get probably a good 20, 30 yards closer to it even during this process. Red, you're invisible. This deer cannot see you. But all of a sudden it picks its head up, and it's kind of like stiffened in the wind and looking towards your direction. But it doesn't react. It cannot see you. It kind of it looks as though it's about right next to its neck. It looks as though it's about to take off. What do you guys do?
How close can I get with that 23?
We're gonna say you get within. Eventually, you can get up pretty much like 30 yards from it. That's a crit. You get pretty damn close to it. You're not in like melee range of it, but you get real like you're behind a tree, and like just to the other side of the tree, maybe like 10 feet away, I guess, is the deer.
It's still 30 yard. Oh, that's still too far.
Am I within 90 feet of it?
You did the same thing. You kind of got like 30 yards closer to it, so you're still 70 yards out. How many feet is that? I don't even know.
30 yards is 90 feet.
Oh.
It's basically a 3 to 1. So 1 yard is 3 feet.
Yeah, so you're more than 90 then, because you're still about 70 out, 60 out.
Okay, then I will cast sleep on it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Perfect.
Go ahead and roll.
Cool.
Hang on. Pretty. I'm looking up his hit points again. Oh, yeah. Okay. No.
Do a
it-
bunch of other animals also fall asleep that we weren't aware of?
yeah, like the
Bird
deer.
falls out of a tree.
So, Brew, as you're kind of sneaking up there, you hear thud, 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 and then poof, and the deer. And you peek around the tree, and the deer and like 3 or 4 birds and a rabbit are just laying there sleeping.
Oh,
We got dinner tonight, boys.
I just start like walking over and like picking them all up.
I like it.
Are they? They're still alive, right? They're just asleep.
Yeah, they're all just sleeping. So for the next minute, they're out cold.
This will be lovely. And then he just starts like as he picks up like each of the birds, and the he just like snaps their neck.
The deer, however, you cannot just snap its neck.
You snap harder.
Is it a male deer or a female deer? Does it
It's a
have
buck.
antlers?
Yeah, it has
Okay,
antlers.
it's a buck.
It's not
So
a very
it's
old
like-
one though.
Probably pretty big then.
It's pretty big. Yeah. It's definitely big.
6-pointer?
No, it's a little bit younger than that.
Okay.
I don't know the best way to do this one.
I get down close to it and I jam my dagger right into its head.
Into its head?
Yes.
Jesus.
That seems a little violent.
It
Make sure it's
No.
dead.
The neck, dear God.
Maybe
To its head. Oh God.
I don't hunt. I don't know what to do with this.
Neither do I.
Rabbit are easy.
Why did you two
You
go
are
hunting?
got
Neither of you know-
better
I thought my invisibility would make it easier.
You still gotta kill it.
man.
All right, roll. What is it? It's an auto crit. So roll your dagger. I mean, it should be more than 8, I would imagine.
It's
1d4 plus what, strength or whatever.
It's exactly 8.
Oh yeah, okay. So
5 plus an additional D4.
you, which is with max because it is unconscious. Okay, so yeah, you're
So
able
9.
to. Yeah. So you stick if you push it through its skull. So you stick your dagger like into its head, and you put, and then just crack, and like you just like, I don't know, you shove your dagger through its skull, and like the whole thing like jerks violently. The whole deer like kicks out violently, and then it just stops moving. You now have a dead deer that is currently bleeding out and in the ground.
Are you sure you just write music?
Not gonna answer that.
So how heavy is this thing? Like, can we actually pick it up and carry it?
I can carry it as one size larger than me. Because I'm a large creature.
Are you really?
Big old thing.
Yeah, as a furbolg.
No, you're still a medium creature, I think, but you just
Cool.
can carry up to one size larger.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna say this deer is lives in the north, so it's large. It's not a moose. We're gonna say it weighs 305 pounds.
I was gonna say, if it was a moose, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have taken it down with 9 damage.
No.
No.
No, actually, yeah, it had low health. We're gonna say it only weighs 100 pounds. It's a little bit larger
It
than
would have
like a normal
probably
deer.
gotten up and killed both of us.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, we'll say it weighs like 100 pounds.
Okay.
These will go lovely with the spices I got. I'm assuming we head back to town. Also, can it be can we like I don't want to say specifically like map out the area, but like make note of anything that we come across as we're out here.
Absolutely. Kind
Since
of.
part of it was exploring was the other part.
Yeah. As you guys are hanging out there, off in the distance, you kind of notice that the hill that the deer was kind of up on, that you guys snuck up on. As you kind of keep going up that hill, there appears to be kind of like a sudden drop point, and if you kind of explore it a little bit, you notice that there is in fact a cave entrance of some sort over that way. But other than that, it's pretty easy to remember the markers. As you turn around, you maybe even see the light shining off of the stick that Saoirse, damn it, Saoirse, whatever.
Got it right the second time.
Did I? Okay, that she put up there. But then it's only lasts about an hour, so after a little bit of more time goes by, it kind of runs out. But you have a pretty good indication of where you are, where the camp is, and where these things are.
I'm assuming the deer just makes a blood trail as I walk. With
Oh yeah,
it.
yeah. The entirety of its body is currently draining of blood as you're kind of dragging it through the snow, leaving a massive trail.
I guess we head back. I'm gonna just look around as we're walking back. Not for anything particular, just
You can roll a perception check. Or are you just passively examining, like you using your passive perception skill?
no. I'll just look around, make sure there's like no one else around
Okay.
that are hostile. Anyway,
Yeah.
I see nothing.
Rumors of dragons, undead, and other creatures of the darkness are the corner of your vision everywhere you look, yet you don't ever actually see anything. Going back to Saoirse, Wesley, and Mr. Fluffy Paws. You guys entered this large keep, or not keep, tower. The staircase is essentially collapsed downward. The roof of this place is gone, and the snow kind of slowly falls in on you guys within this keep. What are you guys doing in here?
Well, I think at first we're just waiting to see if anything happens outside.
Yeah, I assume there are stairs that lead further up.
They're collapsed. They're on the ground around you.
Oh, okay. Are there any like windows or points where I can look out of the keep?
Yep.
In the direction they saw something?
Yep, there are what are they called? Portcullis? Is that the thing with the arrows? The arrow slits? Yeah.
Portcullises.
Yeah, they'll kind of look out. There are 3 per wall. There is one section of the wall though that reaches out to the forest, next to like the where the door used to be. I guess because that's been blown out, or blown in rather, I should say. So you can see pretty easily towards the forest line, but the others are still intact. So you kind of look out through those at the water running by, kind of beating against the stones that had collapsed into the larger river.
Do I see the thing they pointed out at all, or no?
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Okay.
Not a good day for you in perception checks.
Okay. So yeah, peering out into the snow, really all your go ahead and you can thank Mr. Goat GM. He just donated 100 bits to let you re-roll that. Go ahead and re-roll that. Thanks, Goat.
Oh, nice. Hey, it's better.
Hey,
Okay.
that's 5 whole.
There you go.
At least you have eyes.
At least you have eyes. Goat, thank you
Do
again
you
for the 100
not?
bits, though. I appreciate the contribution to the stream and the game. Okay, so with the 11, kind of peering out into the snow, the blizzard kind of like changing its not blizzard, but the snowfall kind of changes its directions every so often, right to left to right. You hear the sound of the water kind of beneath you in this out on the other side of this tower. And as you kind of squint your eyes a little more, then a little more, and a little more, you think you see something move. And it kind of shifts its weight at the top of this building, this keep off in the distance. And kind of against the snowy forest in the backdrop, you're able to make out something rather large that kind of moves its way around.
Do I catch anything other than just it's large?
From this distance, it's very hard to tell what exactly it could be.
How big are we talking here?
I'd say it looks as though it is on the roof, not necessarily coming out from inside. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to describe, size from this range, but it's on top, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Okay, do we expect any immediate threat from the things around us?
I don't think so. At least for now, we should be okay. But
Okay. In that case, I want to get another look at those at that writing, those carving.
go ahead. I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. And Saoirse walks back outside the building, rummages in her bag, pulls out a bit of powdered charcoal, and rubs 2 lines underneath her eyes. And starts muttering something. This takes about 10 minutes. She's casting the ritual version of Comprehend Languages.
Okay.
So once it's complete, is she able to read any of the carvings?
She is.
Also, I probably should have mentioned at some point that she speaks Draconic.
You would have been able to read the basics, but the Comprehend Languages will allow you to, and for duration, understand the literal meaning of any spoken language that you hear, written language that you see, but you must be touching the surface, which is easy for you to do. 1 minute to read 1 page. Okay, that's like one section, I guess you could say. So you're good there. Doesn't decode secret message in a text or a glyph, such as Arcade Sigil. That's fine. Okay, yeah. So reading in Draconic, you get the understanding that this tower was taken over pretty clearly by those that used to follow the Black Dragonflight. So kind of the henchmen, the minions, the groups, the organizations, when they would take over a human settlement or anything like that, they would, obviously claim it by engraving it and marking it. Based on what you're reading that was kind of carved here, you're reading the atrocities that had occurred. So soldiers of this flight that had taken over this settlement, they carved in their descriptions of those they, I guess you could say, converted or killed, or the names of the people they discovered. It's kind of a gruesome detail, like outlining what happened in this place and who won this battle. It speaks of the oh wow, I just went brain dead. It speaks of the leader of the Black Dragonflight and all his glory, and how following him has led them to this point and their victories before. It's basically just a recount of these things that have happened here.
Okay. Does it mention
Ignore that.
anything about any sort of established presence?
There are no dates written in. So it's kind of hard for you to figure out how recently these things have been put here, but based on, let's see, you rolled a check earlier, history check. That was really well. It was pretty well. So you would have been able to kind of figure out that these have not been engraved recently.
Okay.
Also, you do get a couple
Hang on.
names, but I have to look them up. I'm trying to remember them. Hang on. You guys can keep going. I'm looking up the names for you as well. There'll be more information. Ah, the name Jungareth is mentioned. Whoa, what happened to the map?
One moment. Fixing it.
Okay, can you spell that?
Yeah.
Did she get any context about who that was?
Sorry, the second one. Yeah, he was the leader of the Black Dragon flight that kind of contributed to the wars that happened in the north all those years ago.
Okay. So, Saoirse goes back into Wesley, or goes back to talk to Wesley. Says, "So there's something moving over at the keep."
Yeah, I did see it that time.
Oh, good. So I'm not going insane. That's excellent. And these carvings are all about the Black Dragonflight, which were the original, active combatants in this region. They were the ones who sacked this tower and presumably that keep too. So, I mean, that's probably not anything good. So maybe we should either step very carefully around that keep or come back with reinforcements. Or avoid it altogether.
We are here to check it out, aren't we?
We're here to assess it, and I'm based on context clues, I am deeming it unsafe. An active hazard.
You're here for adventure, aren't you? I'd be willing to check it out for a little while. If we see anything. Yeah.
I'm also trying not to get eaten by a black dragon. I mean,
I don't think it was that large, was it, TM?
It's from this distance again. I mean, it's larger than a horse. It was larger than a moose because moose keep coming up. It the way you kept kind of seeing it kind of pop up and go back down again. It's definitely, I guess you could say, a large thing.
With my 25, can I figure out what it is?
Oh, that was your roll. Okay, I wasn't sure what you were rolling for. Cat perception kicks in. the knowledge of the universe, as perceived by a feline, flows through you as if you're a cat, which you are, which makes sense. Okay, so your cat eyes peer off in the distance. You ignore the snow. You ignore all the things that would distract, a lesser being's eyes. And you get focus. And you see a dark, shadowy figure kind of moving around on this roof. And it appears as though it is looking up. And it's kind of like walking around and looking up and walking around and looking up and walking around and looking up. And because you crit rolled, you kind of let your eyes kind of wander up into the clouds. And for the briefest of seconds, pretty damn sure you saw a white dragon kind of like come below the clouds and go back up, and below the clouds and kind of go back up. Oh, hey, Tomcat. Thanks for the follow, man.
I will sit on her shoulder while looking up and smack her in the face with my tail, as if I was on accident.
Oh my! There's fur in my mouth.
And I just keep
What
doing
are
it
you
until
looking
she
at?
looks.
Saoirse looks up. Does she see anything?
With the help?
No, she sees nothing.
I'll say with the help of the cat and your crit fail, you see a lovely bird, northern bird that you've never seen before, kind of flies by, like in your vision.
Well, I mean, I guess that tracks. But it's too high. You can't reach it. I appreciate that you're trying, though.
I've got some meat if you're hungry, Cat. Hold on. Here. Just kind of hold it out.
I sniff it, and then I go back into her bag.
More for me. So yeah,
I think the previous point stands. There's something living there, and probably not friendly. At the very least, we should send the bird back and report. Where is it anyway?
Which what?
The bird.
It's not with you guys. It's probably flying somewhere or perched somewhere high, but you'd have to call for it, which, like I said, would be however you call for it. I'll let you guys be creative with that.
Well, wouldn't there be two code words, one to go back and one to come?
Yeah. So I remember the captain whistled to bring it to it, but there can be any way.
Oh, I can do that quite easily. He'll just put his fingers in his mouth and give out this like really loud, shrieky whistle.
Right in the ear.
After a few seconds, the hawk kind of like comes like floating down like through the front, the blown out part of the wall, kind of like floats in and kind of like lands on your arm or your shoulder or on like a tipped over rock, whatever you guys have available for it. If not you guys, it lands on like a table like next to you, or a jagged rock next to you guys.
Okay. Saoirse takes out a small scrap of paper and quickly writes down on it the relative coordinates of where they are compared to the camp, with compass headings to follow, and says that movement has been seen at keep requesting reinforcements. And
Yeah.
then she tucks it into the hook or the pouch on the hook and says, do you just say the word?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
Rendezvous.
And the bird just like poof, like its wings flutter out and it pushes itself away from you, and then it just flies out up into the air.
guess we wait.
And elsewhere in the world, we see two large beings. One known as Brew, one known as Big Red. One is dragging or carrying a bleeding deer through the snow. The other is carrying a bunch of rabbits and birds.
You got red on you.
I'm not gonna make a comment. He just smiles.
So, behind you, you hear, well, actually, here, why don't you guys roll a perception check? Let's see exactly what you guys hear. Or actually, what is your passives? That might be easier.
Minus 14.
What is Red's?
Mine's only 10.
All right, hang on. Let me. I gotta roll a d20 here. Where'd my d20 go? There it is.
13.
Yeah, roll the 14. So you hear like the crunching of your guys' footsteps as you guys kind of walk through the snow here, and then all of a sudden you hear like something kind of behind you guys, maybe a little bit off to the side, kind of run through the snow. That would be...
I turn to take a look. Like, not like overly, just kind of like I'm looking around because I think I hear something and I look over my shoulder.
Caw!
Go ahead. Yeah. You thought you saw something kind of hop back into like the tree line.
Well, maybe one of his little buddies is following us, and he holds up the rabbit.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's not what it is.
Oh, what do you think it is?
A larger predator, maybe? Because I've been dragging this deer and it's been bleeding out.
How big did it look?
Well, it's very easy for you guys to figure it out. As you guys kind of like turn back to look forward, standing in front of you are two wolves. They're not the nice ones. Roll initiative.
You're following that blood trail, no doubt.
Yeah.
You're here for your deer. And
Go
I
possibly
away.
can't
you.
have it. It's mine.
Shoo, go away. Do you want me to roll initiative?
Yeah, both of you roll initiative.
Oh, I need to select my token.
And just for everybody else too, we're gonna do like a little bit of combat. I'm gonna keep kind of like skipping to you guys after certain parts, just so you guys don't think we're gonna do like an entire combat. So we'll move around. I'm pretty fluent in party splitting. Shady and Z maybe even can tell you about that.
I do not know what you're talking about, Max. I have never once seen you ever split a party.
No, never. It's never happened.
Never.
Never.
It never happened every single game. I swear.
Right, never every game. Oh man. All right. Initiative. Here it is.
I think roll 20 crashed for me.
Okay. Let me know when you get back in.
Restart it.
Oh, actually, Brew is up first anyway. So standing in front of you, like, I don't know, 15 feet ahead, are two wolves. Their fur kind of like a, almost like a, what is it called? Oh my God, I forgot the term. Like some gray, some white. No, some gray,
Mangy.
some white. Yeah, kind of like missing little patches here and there, like they haven't eaten in a while.
Mottled.
There you go.
Bruce sort of like tucks the rabbit that he was carrying like into his pack. You can't have this. Are they like coming towards us, or are they just like standing in our way?
Right now, they're just kind of standing in your way. They had moved behind you when you guys were looking a different direction.
Are they growling?
They're like on their back, like they're stalking, like they're slung to the snow a little bit, like they're prepared to either go forward, backwards, like you can't tell.
Brew's gonna try and scare them away with an intimidation. He he raises his arms up and he's like, "Arr, arr!" He tries to make himself look bigger.
And go ahead and roll an intimidation check.
He's not very good at it.
So that would probably be against the constitution of the wolves, I would assume. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's do that. You don't know, I'm talking out loud. Oh shit. You have a fan. Goat GM says, another roll, and he says he slams his tankard down. So go ahead. He just donated 100 bits. Thank you, Goat. I appreciate you contributed to the game. So go ahead and re-roll your intimidation check.
Another.
Oh, there you go. So maybe he's roar, and then like his voice cracks, and for some reason it gets like lower and raspy, and just and he just lets out this like barbaric roar that he's never done before. And the constitution of the wolves is challenged. They both terrified of this large being scatter. One goes left, one goes right. Wait, no, not yet. So we still have Red's turn, but it looks as though they're going to scatter. They both like one like takes a step to the right and one to the left, almost like they're splitting apart from each other. But we'll let Red take his turn before the wolves react to your intimidation.
I mean, if they're running away, there's no sense in me trying to do something.
You're gonna let you're kind of like, are you gonna ready anything, or are you just gonna kind of not react?
I'm gonna have my my rapier out just in case, though. So if one comes back and charges, then I'm gonna attack it.
And at that, the one wolf splits off into the woods on the left, the other one splits off into the woods on the right, kind of out of your guys' sight.
Hey, I always thought wolves were supposed to be more vicious. That seemed a little easy.
Well, it works. So, good on you.
Off to your guys' flank, you hear like every so often, you hear like a stick, like kind of like snap, or the sound of something like kind of like trunching through the snow, and then like it gets quiet. But you see nothing, and nothing is in your way. Nothing is in your path as you guys kind of continue your way back to the camp. Good. Back at camp, Zabas. Looks like you've done more fortifications. You've really taken this fortification thing beyond what I expected.
I will make a temporary fortress if I must.
The captain, very excited with the amount of effort you've put into, fortifying things. All around you, things kind of start coming together. And maybe it's while you're kind of in the perimeter there, you're kind of setting up your, one of the mounds. You're kind of like asking the other commoners who are here with you to kind of doing the construction with shovels, kind of like helping create like a vertical barrier to prevent anything from climbing.
Yeah.
You hear the sound of feet kind of behind you as you're looking into the camp, kind of standing on the edge of one of your berms, kind of like walking up through the snow.
Now look. What is?
There before you is a large man. Tattoos riddle his face, his balding head, just black lines and are all over him. And he stands there without a weapon. He wears no armor, but he is completely clothed in, I guess what you can call a sleeveless tank top. There you go. I know what they're called. He looks as though he has a very, very, very long beard that kind of descends down. He looks to be probably about middle-aged. He just stands there, kind of staring at you.
You alright?
And he
I'll
still
make sure to keep my
stares.
distance. Okay then. Can I try and decipher what race?
Yeah, what race are you again? You're a drow?
Elven.
Elven, that's right, okay.
Hi, Elven.
I'm trying to think with your history. Go ahead and roll a history check.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Though you can't tell, you know, I mean, he's from the north, obviously. He doesn't look like anything you've ever seen in the south. You're not familiar with his heritage, but it's clearly a Goliath of some type.
Well, you stay over there. One sec. And he's going to go back inside and
One
discuss this with the captain.
GM, you may have saved them, by the way, from those wolves.
Hey, Captain. There's a fella back there, and he's just staring.
Tell him to bug off.
I'm busy. You mind dealing with him?
The captain, like, takes this massive axe he's wielding and, like, chops down on some wood, splitting it in half. He's like, and I'm not busy?
Look at this around.
And he puts the axe down and he picks up his belt that has his scabbard and sword on it, and he kind of just carries it over to you and kind of climbs up on the berm you've made and says, where?
I look over. Is he still?
Yeah, he had moved positions. He's kind of like further down now. So like here, let's say if you were like up here in the top left, like on the edge, kind of like working with people, he moved from like what would have been here to like probably like down this way a little more. Be kind of like moving to left or right.
There.
The captain kind of like squints into the trees a little bit. He's like, "Oh yeah, there's a man there. What is that? A Goliath?
Yeah.
Hey!" And he kind of like yells at him. And the man just stands there. And then the man just kind of like looks over at you guys and kind of turns and keeps walking. And he continues to walk around the entire encampment. When he gets to the road, though, however, there's like a dirt path that leads up from this area from the previous caravans, kind of wearing their way through the snow and the dirt and the tree line and everything. He gets to that path and he kind of like looks down on it and kind of almost like examines it. He kind of touches the ground, and then he continues over the dirt quickly, and he continues to walk his way around the entire outskirts of this encampment.
I am seeing he's doing something. He ain't doing anything. I'm gonna use detect magic. See if he's doing magic trickery.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. News actions, faint aura. Okay. He you get the opinion that he's kind of doing the same thing, I guess you could say. He appears to be examining, and every so often, like he holds it, like while he's standing there looking at something or towards something, his hands kind of move a little bit, or he kind of blinks, you know, in a strange way, closing his eyes, and you get like an aura of things that kind of like radiating off of him. And it's really easily for you to understand that he's kind of doing the same thing you are. So you guys kind of notice each other doing this.
So he's using the school of transmutation.
Yeah, the same one you are.
Okay. He's hey Captain, he's using the same stuff we are. We may not we may need to test that. There's different types of weird stuff
Okay.
like my stuff.
Just to interject here, it's worth noting that we're people on the expeditions are supposed to be the only people alive up here.
Yes.
This guy probably isn't from the expedition, which raises serious questions.
That Zabas will have to realize on his own.
Uh-oh. That's a no-no.
All right, God, I appreciate it. I appreciate the lurk, man.
And you just pat the captain like, come on, you can do it. And he's like, the captain pats his own back. It's like, no, you can do it. It's like a so you can last long. Not very bad. Yeah, it's gonna last for a while. But other than that, he's going to check out the magic, see if he can try and get the specific spell down.
Oh no, you already got
using his
that.
own-
That's what I was saying earlier. You figured out what he's also using detect magic.
Oh, okay.
Like you're able to see, like he's checking your guys's, and it's pretty obvious. He's checking your guys's encampment. That's why he put his hand on the road. He's trying to figure out if you guys set traps. Like, did you guys do anything? What are you guys doing here? So yeah, he's using that same spell. He's looking for
Okay.
magic.
Divination. Okay. Yeah.
Or, yeah, sorry, yeah,
I'll-
divination, not transmutation.
Captain, he's looking in on our camp. We should go meet him. Jamal. And
The
then he goes
captain
and-
looks at you and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to meet that guy.
Why not?
Look at him. We don't. He's pretty big. No combat here for me. I say we continue to hole up and we fortify. I mean, he's pretty big. We're gonna have to make sure we accommodate that if they're not friendly.
All right.
I mean, you do what you want to do. You're a smart man. You've proven yourself in combat already. So
All right. I'll figure out something. He goes up. Hey, yo, how are you still alive?
hang on a second.
How are you still alive?
Hard to beat. I don't know. Hang on. That's not what he
That's a
says.
legitimate question.
I gotta read something real quick. He yells something back in a language you cannot understand.
Is it Northern?
It's what languages do you know?
Common, Elfish, Abyssal, Draconic, and Infernal.
Yeah, he yells something back in a language you can understand. It sounds
Okay.
loud and I guess you could say loud. It's a very like loud sounding language.
Okay. Probably Goliath, since he's Goliath. That sounds right. So probably in the mountains. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna go through my 5 languages: Common, Elvish, Abyssal, and say that again.
Okay. You do that all, and he yells back at you. Oh, you just listed them. Very cool. He says back. He kind of like starts laughing, and he yells back in Common. You're all from the south. He kind of like yells back.
You're from the north.
And then he kind of glares at you, and he turns and he just begins walking into the woods.
Well, I'm the best diplomat ever, ain't I, guys? Give me a clap. I'm just gonna give myself a clap. Anyway, I'm gonna like
So-
reinforce.
He said that to the trees.
Exactly. On the best
Saoirse's
of
gonna have a
maps.
small stroke when she gets back and hears about this.
The captain does say to you though, as like he kind of heads back into the trees. Captain says, well, that guy's quite large. It's a good thing he's unarmed, because if he was armed, that would have been a lot more terrifying. I thought everyone up here is dead. I don't think we've had any reports from any of the other caravans stating anyone's ran into anybody yet. Anyway,
Maybe they survived in the mountains, seeing that Goliath. Maybe have some villages up there. They're able to take care of their own, I guess.
yeah. And he says, I'm gonna go to my tent. I think I have some reports from the previous tribes and civilizations. So here, I wonder if it's a leftover.
Maybe.
From
I'll check them out.
yeah. The captain kind of like. Yeah, he kind of like trails off his words, and he kind of like, yeah. He just kind of like turns and kind of runs down and goes into his tent. Do a little research.
Gonna start doing this.
Sebas, is there anything else you'd like to do before we kind of jump back to the group of three currently
I'm
watching the keep?
building up the beautiful walls, making the outside more pretty. It's so beautiful.
It is coming together quite nicely. Teleporting our way back. We zoom up into the sky and we fly through the clouds and through the snow, and we zoom our way past a hawk that is currently traveling its way back to the camp. We go past the hawk and we arrive at Mr. Fluffy Paws, Saoirse, and Wesley.
So, did we wait for the hawk to get back?
The hawk is still flying.
No, this was a question.
Oh, my bad.
Didn't care.
Okay, I will shut up. Go ahead.
I kind of want to. Kind of curious to see what's going on around here.
I mean, I am too, but it feels like objectively a bad idea.
I mean, we have this place to help us, I suppose. It's kind of fortified, don't you think?
It is, but I mean, I guess it depends on the magnitude of the threat. Because if it's a couple skeletons, then yes, having a doorway to bottleneck them in would be very helpful. But if it's a black dragon, for instance, having a doorway to bottleneck it in is not going to do as much.
Again, you keep talking about dragons. I haven't seen a single dragon since we got up here. So
And I'd like to keep it that way.
I would too. I doubt there's anyone here. That's all I'm saying.
We already saw something moving on the roof of the keep.
And why does that automatically make it a dragon?
Because they were the ones who conquered this area and they live a long time. It very well could actually be the same dragon.
Well,
As 100% within the realm of possibility. Maybe he never left. Maybe he piled up everything from all the people he killed here and is sitting on it right now in that keep.
possible. That just means there's a ton of cool stuff in it. Keep.
A ton of cool
And a
stuff in the
black dragon.
Hmm.
I feel like we're underestimating that part of it. I mean,
Whatever it is,
again,
I assume hasn't seen us yet. So we can wait here for the reinforcements. And see
well,
what they
maybe
think.
we can do a little forward scouting, but we need to make an agreement that we're going to retreat if anything happens.
I know I can't take a dragon. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
At this point, I'm just gonna jump out of the bag and I'm just gonna go inside.
We're already inside the keep.
I want to explore it.
But we're not in the keep.
You're
We're
in
in the tower.
tower across the river, down the field, across the river.
Okay.
So it's like probably about a half an hour's walk to the keep.
You're gonna explore the inside of this tower a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll a perception check. Or investigation, I suppose. Well, no, I'll do perception first.
I click on
Okay.
KO. I'm sorry.
Yes, we know, Wesley. You have a
23.
16 AC.
I'm sorry.
We know. All right. Mr. Fluffy Paws, you kind of hop down, and the first thing you realize is that you guys are essentially standing on bones, skeleton, armor, broken weapons, the ground. I mean, you have to kind of like maneuver your way down to even the dirt a little bit. The snow's kind of like packed in between all of this death, I guess. Looking around the tower, you see that the inside walls are essentially completely and totally corroded out. Little like burn pocks kind of like appear all over the stonework as if something had chewed its way into the walls at some point. There are no wood objects. Everything in here is stone. The ceiling was obviously broken or fallen or ripped off at some point, leaving you to believe that well, there's nothing really much else that you could possibly see. The staircases are all collapsed. There is nothing above you other than the sky, which slowly and slowly it gets darker and darker and darker the longer you guys stay here.
Okay, let's head for the keep, do a little scouting, and then head back.
That's what you think.
Okay.
I will climb back up his shoulder, not hers, this time.
There you go.
Harsh.
I'll scratch him a little bit under his chin.
I will start to purr. And then I will take my spot right
Yeah.
behind his neck. I'm sprawling myself so my hind legs are on one shoulder and my forelegs are on the other.
No, it's actually kind of warm. It's like a scarf almost.
And then I start, and I'm just gonna purr right there.
Alright, so let's roll a stealth check, I guess.
So the one main obstacle you guys are running into here, as you kind of prepare to move your way, is the massive river that currently separates you guys from the other side where this keep is.
Oh. Yeah, that would be a problem. And there's no bridge, right?
No, there is not.
Hmm.
The water here is insanely turbulent as it's coming down from the mountains.
Hmm. There wouldn't happen to be an Arakocra back at camp, would there?
No,
Oh.
there is none of those race. No.
Are there any big trees here that I could scale and walk across the limb and jump onto another limb and get to the other side?
No, there. From what you can see, absolutely not. A lot of the trees have been
Mhm.
removed from the water's edge for mostly defensive reasons.
How wide of a river is this?
If you're going by punting a cat, how many punts would it take?
It would probably take like it would,
It's like a
Couple.
Mississippi-sized river, or
yeah, I guess you could say that. Smaller than the not quite that large. It's not like the Mississippi River. We'll say it's what I do everything in terms of football fields, so maybe 50 yards, I guess, 60 yards wide. It's pretty big.
that is pretty big. Well, I mean, we can follow it upstream, see if we can find a fording point, but I mean,
What do we have to ford with? We bought folding equipment.
Well, I mean, just a shallow point. Or a point with rocks, which we could set up a sort of makeshift bridge.
But the water still then would take us off our feet.
Probably, but maybe there's an area with where it's more canyon-like, and we can, like, put a tree over it. I don't know. All I know is that we can't get across here.
No, we can't.
Do we see where there was a bridge?
Yeah, the tower is immediately on the water's edge. And when you guys approached it earlier, you guys had seen where the bridge used to be, and the massive stone bridge kind of had collapsed its way down into the water. And if you look down in there, you can actually see where the water is hitting the old pieces of the bridge, kind of flowing over. So taking the water from like a fast flowing river to more of like a turbulent, jagged flow. You could see where the bridge had collapsed inside the river.
Okay, so follow-up question. Was this a pylon bridge or a...
Stone. So like, I'm not sure if that's considered pylon. I don't know the actual terminology, but basically it's like an arch. And then there is like an arch.
Oh, I mean, was there a single arch or multiple arches?
Multiple.
Okay. So there probably are still man-made islands in the middle of the stream.
Yeah,
Just-
I think that's what I'm describing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because it comes down, and that's like the parts you see where the water is kind of like smashing against it, and then there's like pieces sticking out, like the old bridge stonework and everything.
Okay. You wouldn't happen to have a rope on you, would you?
Of course I do.
Excellent. I guess we can try and cross pylon by pylon. Do you have a grappling hook?
I have a rope. I have no grappling hook, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, we can always try with a large rock or a heavy stick. Not quite as effective, I would imagine. Again, this is not really my thing. Is that a thing?
Well, that would still require me swimming.
Throwing it over. And then sort of crossing on the... I don't do this. It's a thing I read about in a book once.
Maybe. We could always just try swimming from island from island to island, trying to see if that works.
I think we'd freeze.
That's also true. Didn't think about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's already cold out. I don't want to be out here and wet.
We could dip the cat in the water real fast and try to see if it really is that cold. I'm
I
joking.
mean, I'm not sure how much we'd learn from it.
I know. I'm kidding. Looks like for now we're not going to be able to get over there.
Yeah, probably. Well, we can always head back and see if someone else has a way across.
And there is that other place we need to check out.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the ruins. Okay. We should head back to the camp first, see if we can get more people.
Sure.
Okay, so we head back to the tower, and then from there we proceed directly to the camp.
Okay.
Using her, calculations.
Yeah.
And
What
coordinate system.
exactly was requested in the letter with the hawk again?
Reinforcements, so my hope is that if they are sent, we will meet them on the way because we're following the opposite of the instructions she gave.
Okay. Did you guys detail what the reinforcements were for? Like, did you request soldiers because you're in danger? Did you request, what did you request? I should have asked this earlier, but I did not.
I guess additional scouting.
Okay,
people?
that makes sense. Yep. So yeah, as the kind of like zooming away from you guys, we kind of like teleport back up into the sky, and we begin to sail through the air, and we catch up to the Hawk. It's just landing, and it's kind of perched in the middle of camp. And the captain, eventually kind of making his way out of the tent, notices the Hawk. Kind of like, oh, and he kind of like runs over to it, and he kind of like waves at Zabas to like come over here. Like, hey, come here. You know, like your friends, you know, they're requesting something here.
No.
So
What?
he pulls the letter off of the Hawk's, talon or whatever, the little pouch that's attached to it. And I imagine Saoirse has just like the beautiful, like loopy writing. That's how I picture it. You can correct me.
That's accurate.
Okay, yeah. So just beautiful, like handwriting. It's all written out in just a way that he's not used to seeing. He's just like, oh, this is well written. Okay. And he kind of goes through, and you're requesting like additional scouting units, and maybe you have some minor description. You obviously have a description of where you are. And he's like, okay, so they made their way. Okay, so they're in the tower. All right. And he kind of like looks over at Zabas, and he's like, he says, oh, they must have been scared to cross the bridge for whatever reason. I thought they were going to the keep, and he kind of like says it to Zabas, and he kind of yells out, and he calls over a few troops, and he kind of gives the instructions, and he sends them in with your instructions to where you guys are. So timing wise, it's getting to be the evening, so they pack up, I guess you could say, with night supplies. Enough like clothing and blankets and things like that, knowing that they're going to be out in the night for a little bit. And they head out. Zabas, do you join them, or do you remain in the camp?
I'm gonna join him.
Okay. So he gives you the instructions, and he takes the Hawk, and he tells you how to summon the Hawk. The sharp whistle at a certain frequency. Like he kind of just demonstrates to you and teaches you how to do it. And then the Hawk kind of like flutters up into the air and kind of flies above you guys. But you guys head out. Zooming out from there, we notice from the sky a thick red line in the snow from above, slowly thinning its way out. And at the end of that thin red line, we see Brew and Big Red kind of trudging through the snow, weary, and all around them, as the night sky kind of like takes over from the daylight, it kind of gets darker and darker, and the snow gets thicker and thicker. We see tracks, wolf tracks, all over the place. Immediately to your left, Brew, a wolf had kind of been like coming into your view and then kind of like heading off, and then coming into your view and heading off. But this time, it gets into a position to where almost as if it's trying to flank you. We're gonna go back to the top of the turn order. What do you do?
Are we going to do this again? Is it just the one wolf?
If you quickly look around, you see multiple of them, but they're much farther away. So just the one.
Oh, so they've regrouped.
Yeah, one of them is near you guys. The rest are kind of like, you get glimpses at the tree line kind of thing.
Sort of raise my arms up again and make myself look big, and I go for another sort of growl at it.
So you can roll another intimidation.
Yep.
Ooh,
Ooh.
ouch.
We need 100 more. We need 100 more bits. Use them as a chew toy.
So before we have this reaction of this critical fail, I noticed one of you guys wanted to go grab a drink. We've been going for about 2 hours now. Do you guys want to take 5 minutes?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Why don't we take a 5-minute break here, and then we'll regroup.
Cool.
All right, everybody. We're gonna take a quick 5. We're gonna take a quick 5. We'll be right back. Play some music. This one, right? Be right back. There we go. Oh, it got really loud. Okay, be right back, guys. All right, where we at? What's going on? Let's get back at this shit, man. At this game. Hello, everybody. We're back. Let me unmute myself here. Conversation with everybody. All right, everybody. I am back as well. Let everybody know that I got almonds and they're delicious.
We're ready to die.
Well, I have cookies and chocolate milk.
I just want you to know I had cinnamon rolls.
Now I'm really mad I got almonds and not those things.
I have graham crackers.
Oh my god, everybody has better shit than me.
Graham crackers are better. I don't know about that.
They're pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
You're still on that keto diet, right?
I am. That's why I got sick last time. Shady pointed that out to me as well.
Shit.
It's a sign.
Not supposed to eat carbs, and I had a cheeseburger with a bun. After like 3 months of eating no carbs at all. Well, minimal carbs, like less than 20 grams a day or whatever. Got very ill from that. Anyway, it sounds like we're missing possibly one still.
I'm here.
No, Saoirse hasn't said anything.
Yeah.
We'll give her another second or two. Actually, well, no, we were working with the wolves anyway. So I know that Mac and Z are both here. So we'll get started with them.
We're about to die. Killed by wolves.
Yep.
Asmar, right?
Yeah, I think what is it? Is it Brew and Asmar?
No.
No.
No, I think Saoirse's an Asmar.
Is she an Asmar? I can't
Fucking
remember.
Asimar. I'm a bear, Asimar.
I mean, look
I
at
come from the bear kingdom of whatever it is.
Canon.
Yeah.
You said it. Anyway.
Bear
What do you?
guard.
Oh, your crit fail.
Each of them.
Sorry, I should stop eating my snacks. Okay,
Does he charm him?
so you're like yell there, and in Pokemon terms, it was not effective.
I think my diplomacy has failed.
So Red.
What
Oh,
what
go
kind of action was that?
ahead.
Or is that my entire turn?
We're gonna say that was your action, so you still have bonus action and movement.
Is it a movement to ready, or is it a movement? What is
An action
what is
to
a
ready.
ready? Is a ready an actual action?
Yeah,
Like
it's an
ready
actual
item?
action. Yep, because you're preparing to do something when something happens, which is an action.
I don't know. I mean, like ready an item. Like
Oh, an
pull
item.
out an item. Yeah.
Oh no, you can take out weapons. Yeah, that you can do.
I pull out my stick.
Menacing.
You're,
Right?
you're gonna what?
That's very menacing. All right, Red. You hear Brew let out this shrill shriek of maybe fear. And you hear the sound of more wolves moving in closer. At the sheer sight of the weakness that Brew has portrayed. What do you do?
I will attempt to do the same thing, but trying to speak in giant.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Just-
I don't think they speak that.
Well, I rolled a 10. They rolled a 10 rather. So you let out this this scream in giant. And like as you look around and do it, the wolf that's closest remains. But the 5 others that were charging from the tree line. Hang on. Where's my... Okay, we'll just do it a different way. Oop, that was a terrible roll. Hang on. 2 of them kind of like peel off a different direction. leaving 4 wolves, 1 near you and 3 kind of like moving towards you guys from the tree line. You also still have movement.
I'm just gonna continue heading towards the camp itself. So I'm just running in that direction, even if I
Okay.
pass them.
So you just continue to haul, continue moving forward. So you kind of sprint ahead of Brew, as Brew has his weapon prepared, and you kind of charge forward. The one wolf that's closest, he runs up to you, Brew, and kind of like in a stalking way, he lashes out and he just tries to bite at you. Does an 11 hit you?
No, sir.
So it blows a bite at you, and you kind of pull your arm back, avoiding the bite. And then the wolf's actually going to kind of like run back from you guys.
Wait, it's running away from me?
Yeah, it kind of like runs back away from you.
Do I get a reaction?
You do.
Smack it with the stick.
Back away.
Okay.
Wow.
It was that one that I rolled earlier was to lure it into a false sense of security.
You guys,
Christ.
you're immediately thinking, can you eat wolf meat? As you just obliterate this wolf and you kill it.
Do I punt it like the GIF that was posted earlier in the chat?
You know what? Because it's a crit, you can if you want to.
I'm gonna punt it back towards camp.
Wolf, I'm gonna punt this bitch. Might as well be closer to camp. And you whack it with your stick and nearly kill it, and then you just haul off and kick it. And it just goes like flipping through the air, just whoop, 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 and it hits the snow dead. And it lands like near, it lands closer to Red. So like Red, you hear it hit the snow, and you turn around and you see this like wolf with like its neck like twisted now because it's been beaten with a stick and then
What
punted.
the hell?
God.
Oh, this place is better than the market. They just all come for you.
This is better than the market.
Are we gonna take these things down and eat them?
I guess if they keep coming for us, he sort of like walks after Red to get towards the thing.
So you continue forward and you scoop up this wolf. Upon seeing its compatriot punted, the others move in more of like into a stalking pattern, and they don't yet attack. Up in the distance, you see, just at the edge of your vision, kind of like through a clearing, you see large mounds of dirt that had been piled up, creating a beautiful berm and defensive wall around the camp. You're almost to camp.
Was that always there?
Yes.
Are we still on initiative?
No, sorry, I was reading your
I'm just
question in
making sure.
Discord. Yeah, so at that, yeah, you guys are damn near the camp.
Oh, come on, puppies. Brew is like holding out the rabbit now at this point to like draw them with us.
As you get near the camp, you're trying to lure the wolves in. They kind of like get closer and closer and closer. And you hear a guard like over the wall, like on the wall, yell, "Hey! Oh, they're back!" And the wolves kind of like, after like the sudden, like it's not dark out yet, but like the sudden torchlight on like the edge of the top of the berms from the guards, like looking over and things. The wolves kind of like scurry back into the woods a little bit, leaving you be with your haul of meat.
Ah, you scared him off.
No, I think that was you.
I didn't do it. It was him with his stupid fire.
Well, we got plenty of meat to last us a while, so.
As you guys kind of move your way around the front to get into the little encampment here, you see that Zabas, his work has been very well. He's built up. Actually, Zabas, why don't you describe in full detail, not full detail, but just in detail, like
One
what
moment.
exactly you built?
It's being uploaded to.
Oh, you're uploading a
This-
picture? Oh, wow.
Voila! Minecraft.
That's one hell of a feat.
I did it. Every bit of it. So, it's got the layout, you got the walls here. So, you're starting with the strongest but most variable wall. So, you got this thick, strong curve with many stones in it. Then you move up to the front of it with some trees, casting a good bit of shade on it. Outside this map area, you got some burns, small hills, some small holes behind those burns just to cause people some havoc. And there's some difficult terrain about just to cause some more havoc. And it just looks beautiful.
So you guys see all this as you approach the camp. As you come in the front door, you see Zabas kind of heading out as you guys are coming in. And maybe you hand some bunch of kind of guards, kind of like, and people run up to you to grab the animal carcasses from you to prepare dressing them and preserving the meat. I mean, obviously you guys are going to need it. And as you do that, all of you, kind of at the same time, Saoirse, Wesley, and Mr. Fluffy Paws, or whatever the hell your name is, the cat, you all hear at the same time this loud, kind of low-pitched rumble. It sounds like a horn, and then it just gets higher pitched, and it kind of echoes through the area. Wesley, all of you guys hear it towards the camp. Those of you who are in the camp hear it as if it's, right next to you.
Oh, it wasn't me.
We should probably hurry.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it doesn't sound good.
And there's soldiers around me. I just tell them, nah, surround me. Defensive positions, guys.
So does it sound like it's coming from a specific direction or like within the camp?
No, it sounds like it's coming like from the trees directly north of the camp here. Out the front, essentially. Like somewhere you hear like a couple other horns kind of go off. And a guard on the roof the top of the mounds kind of yells back, kind of like yelling something. He's like, there's movement in the trees. And like the commoners that are there kind of grab weapons and knives, and everyone kind of like arms themselves.
Prepare yourselves.
Zabas, as you look out through like the front there, you see that same man that you saw earlier kind of walk out of the tree line by himself. And he stands there staring at you guys at the camp.
I'm gonna prepare my longbow and my wand.
And at this point, we teleport our way back to Wesley, Mr. Fluffy Paws, and Saoirse. You guys are getting closer to the camp, and as you guys kind of like winding your way through the trees, you kind of start hearing like the low batter of like the war, kind of like these war drums kind of echoing through the trees.
That's definitely not good. I mean,
Yeah,
we didn't bring drums, right?
no, we didn't. That's bad, very bad. I'm gonna break into a sprint at this point to try and get back.
Saoirse jogs, but
Oh,
yeah, well,
I'm
Saoirse runs behind you and asks a bunch of winded questions as you run. Namely, who would have drums?
I don't know.
That's not the sort of artifact that survives 400 years.
There's probably people we don't know about then. It's fine. We need to get back.
That's... I don't know what that is. Okay,
It's war drones, 100%. Heard them before.
okay, well, Saoirse runs.
Okay. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do.
Do animal carcasses count as monk weapons? I don't think I've ever heard that question before.
improvised.
What was asked? Do animal
You could probably grab out the
carcasses?
spine. You got a spine or some talons. You can use the talons. See.
He wants to beat people with wolves, I think.
Did Z ask this?
I'm asking it out.
If somebody asked this, oh, it was you, Mac. Okay.
I should ask it.
I mean, it would be an improvised weapon.
Are improvised weapons considered monk weapons?
I think
An
there's just a
improvised
default.
weapon would be rolled without proficiency.
Okay, so no.
Correct. Okay. Zabas, this man stands out in front. The captain kind of like walks up next to you, and he looks over and he's like, "Elfi, not very diplomatic, if you know what I mean."
And I'm the greatest there is. No.
I mean, why do you think they haven't attacked yet?
Why? Who hasn't attacked? Is it the wolves?
It's them.
It's who?
Who? Me, you, what? Okay.
Top 5 conversations ever going on right here.
Yeah. So,
He asked who
say
it was.
this is going to think. He's going to think real hard. And then he's going to look to the captain and it's like, we need to send a diplomat. And he looks to the back and looks forward again. Look, okay. And he passes his shoulder on the captain and is like, I promise nothing. I promise absolutely nothing. Give me 25 gold and it's good. That good? Yeah, it's good.
You're asking the captain for 25 gold?
Yep.
Captain looks at you and like he was cross-armed, and he kind of like holds one hand in the air and he just goes, "Why the hell would I give you 25 gold?"
Looks down at his like shoes. You're right. I'm gonna go out. Cover me.
I was about to say, are you holding yourself hostage?
He's gonna go out. He's gonna look all about. Hey,
The war drums stop,
what are you doing?
like do, and then just poof as you walk out. The man still stands there staring at you.
You good?
Can we see this through the gate? Through the open gate?
Yeah, I imagine you see him. I just picture him like a thumbs up, like you good, like thumbs down, like you good, or like.
Brew like stands up on his tippy toes to like see what's going on and like waves.
The man just kind of like stands there and he kind of like takes a step forward and like, yeah. I mean, you go all the way out to him, or you just kind of like standing in the gate yelling at him?
I'm like 15 feet away from the gate.
Okay, so you approach him. All right. So the man looks at you and he says, you and your kind have entered our area. We are tired. Taking our resources and our animals. Two of your kind have been seen hunting, killing the wild wolves, the deer, violently and viciously. One of them stabbed one with through the skull. You are barbarians. Why have you come? Why do you keep coming? No, you guys can't. I imagine you guys are still in the camp. Only he went out.
Yep.
Unless you come up later, unless you say you want to go out there at some point, but as of right now, no.
Just from where we are.
Okay.
Okay, so seeing as you come out to approach and speak reasonably, I'll be fair. So, to the south, there's some land that we can use to grow, and we have grown. We have ventured up here because we seek to learn what has happened. To prescribe this, we seek to hunt to get nutrients and food for living. But most of all, our goal here is to scout out the north and what has happened. Seeing as you are capable of withstanding this, I would like to ask, and seeing as you're intelligent, and not this barbarian you speak of, tell me, what has happened?
He looks you over. And he kind of like looks past you back at the gate and sees Red. Kind of like standing there, kind of looking out, and some of the guards up on the edge of the berm. And the torch this man was carrying kind of like flickers in the wind, and as you ask, like the wind kind of howls a little bit and snow kind of blows past, and he kind of like he holds his arms out and he says, the north is a frozen wasteland. Then he says, these lands are sick, they are dying, there is nowhere to go. And like he kind of like turns and kind of like lets you see past him, and you see at the tree line like all kinds of other people, a lot of them armed, but a lot of them seem to not be armed, and they seem to be carrying an awful lot of things on their backs, like backpacks of supplies and items. And he says, these lands have largely been untouched, but out that way, and he kind of like points like back farther north, he's like, there is nothing.
Nothing. What do you mean by that?
As I've said, these lands are dying. And he kind of excuse me, he says, he kind of looks you over and he kind of holds his hand out, and like you see a lot of like the bows and stuff like that were drawn kind of like get lowered down and stuff like that. Everyone kind of lowers their guard down a little bit. Wesley, Mr. Fluffy Paws, and Saoirse, you guys kind of get to a point where all of a sudden you see this like there's a dirt mound in front of you guys as you guys finally make it back to the camp. As you're working your way around from the outside, from the corner, you kind of see like in the road and the clearing out a little bit out in front, you see Zabas talking to this balding man. Off in the tree line, you see speckles of torches being held, and you could tell that the camp is largely surrounded, except not on that side of the camp, where the wall seems to be very well fortified.
Okay. Saoirse. Saoirse rushes over to where this is going on and says quietly to Zabas, okay, what's going on?
But as you rush up, 2 armed men kind of come running out and like kind of meet you at the same time. They don't like attack you or nothing, but they run up with, their own kind of, I guess you could say, the man talking to Zabas. So they kind of like almost as if a motion of protection. They kind of run up behind when they see you kind of unarmed stop and kind of talk to Zabas. They kind of stop like a few feet behind their man and kind of remain there.
I would have followed her out. I realized my mic was muted.
Okay, yeah, I assume so. That's why I had 2 run. So I assumed you guys all went. So
I would like to
met.
jump off my mount, if you don't mind.
Hands are on both of my swords, not unsheathing them, just ready.
Okay.
Sibis says, the North has survivors, and it appears we have first eyewitness accounts of what's happening up here.
Yes, it's... Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, Saoirse, you got this. Greetings. My name is Saoirse Morin, and I am, I think, the designated representative of this portion of the caravan.
The man kind of stares but nods. Like, hello.
Saoirse gives a very formal, small bow. So, I've clearly missed part of the conversation. What did I miss?
The North is dying. I think it's good. Anyway, he's going to, if you mind, I shall bring us a table. And he looks to the Goliath. And, giving a affirmation, yes or no.
Wait. Were you talking to Saoirse or are you talking to the Goliath? I think my mic cut out for a second.
I'm talking to the Goliath, like saying, hey, is it okay if I use magic here?
Oh, yeah. He doesn't really react. Fine.
He nods and he brings up a little mound of dirt and he just transforms it into like a little higher slump of stone. Well, how that is, Representative.
Thank you. Okay. You don't think you could do a chair, could you?
One moment. Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Saoirse sits down. So, what is your name?
Names are for those in the south. We are a tribe of people, of one. We are known by most of you southerners as the tribes of the north. I think that would be sufficient to answer your question for now.
Well, I was hoping to know what you call yourself.
What would you call me?
Whatever you want.
And he kind of like he kind of bows and he says he doesn't really give an answer. He just kind of like nods, kind of like whatever. He doesn't really care what you call him.
Okay, fair enough. And Saoirse takes a note. Tribes of the North did not care to clarify. I have a number of questions, but those can wait. What made you come out to speak with us?
We had been scouting ahead for a path, attempt to get to the easternmost shores of the north through the never-ending white snow, of the never-ending white fields of the east. Then he basically details how this is the safest route that him and his people could find.
Okay. Is this a standard migration or are you a nomadic culture, or do you normally live somewhere and are leaving that for a specific reason?
He kind of looks at you peculiarly, and he kind of like lifts his hands up, and you see one of his hands up, and you hear like the sound of walking. And as you look back to the tree line, you see that all of his people, or most of his people, have begun walking in the direction they were walking. Kind of like horizontal with the camp, kind of like through the woods. You see them, kind of like a couple of them walk out of the tree line and continue to walk. He has signaled the rest of his caravan to kind of continue away from the camp here. A large part of the soldiers and the fighting warriors kind of remain, but most of them continue on even with the caravan itself, or the migration. And he says, we come from a much farther portion of the north, but we were driven out. A place where the giants roam.
Were you driven out by the giants?
We wish. We wish it was that simple.
Well, part of our mission here is to gather information and make records of what has happened. Would you be at all willing to talk about it?
I think that before the end of our conversation here, I would be able to show you. And he says, but before we go, please, you have other questions.
I mean, I have an infinite number of questions about how you survived the sweeping of the north by the undead, and if there are any other survivors, or how many extant cultures are still left, and whether or not the ruins here are still inhabited. But any of those you could answer would be excellent.
And upon asking that question, he kind of holds the flames a little bit closer, like to his head, like the torch he's holding. They're gonna light up the area around you guys. And as you hold it closer, Zabas, you notice all his dark tattoos usually accompany a Goliath. But you notice kind of intertwined in between some areas of his skin, you see this like black, almost not like a vein, but like a vein, not a vein itself, but a vein like lines that kind of like are spreading a little bit throughout some parts of his skin. And he kind of like leans forward and he kind of opens his eyes a little bit wider even, and you see like these black lines kind of like accompanying the white parts of his skin, or his eyeball even. And he kind of like lets you see this, and he doesn't really say much else other than he says, again, the north is dying.
Can I make an Arcana check? Because I know some sort of magical diseases of sorts.
Yeah, you can roll it. Go ahead.
19.
Yep, this screams something ancient. Something that you have never encountered, and if you've heard of it through any type of research or any type of knowledge of Arcana, it's something that is familiar in the fact that you know what it could be, but you don't know what it is.
Okay. Do I get this in that book I was telling you about?
Would it be in that book?
Yeah, the one that describes the 10 tiers.
Oh, probably not. But honestly, I'd have to review that again to see if it was in there or not.
Okay.
Yeah, but most likely not.
Is this something Saoirse has read about?
In the sense that you have heard of magical things that have poisoned lands before, but not like this. This particularly you have never seen. With the history, it's a pretty good roll though. So it sounds like something you have heard about in folklore, like something that the farmers of the South not joke about, but speak like lightheartedly about. Like, hey, you have to do this, otherwise your crops might catch this disease and be ruined, and the harvest will be lost. Like you've heard of like something like referring to it, I guess you could say.
That looks like the Black Blight.
They seems the necromantic energies in that area. Indeed. Land's dying.
Oh, that's not good. Can you tell me more about how this started?
He says, through stories of our people, hang on. He goes back and starts describing basically what you guys already know about the undead kind of uprising and taking over the north and working their way south through the lands. He says that his people, he kind of points at a symbol on his the cloth that he wears, and you see that there is a dragon symbol, or what represents, it's a draconic word, and then there's a symbol of a dragon kind of like designed within the words themselves, and it represents that of a white dragon.
Draconic.
Yeah, so those of you who speak Draconic, when he points at it, like that's kind of like when you would notice this symbol, like I have like intertwined in the design of his clothing. And it says Ithial.
Ithial. Would I know the context for that?
Ithial was an ancient white dragon that at some point lived in the north. Was thought to have been a rabid wild beast that the stories and poetry and poems and things and lore that came from the heroes of the north from all those years ago supposedly came up against, and the dragon hasn't been seen since.
That's the mark of a very old dragon.
And he nods and he says, yes, our people were forced to pick a side. That of two evils, and a third that sought no allegiance. We, whatever, Shady. Sorry, it threw me off. We were forced to pick a side, and for our transgressions against, well, the black dragons, our lands were poisoned. And then he says, oh no, actually no, he leaves it at that right now.
Are the black dragons still active?
He nods. Yes.
Okay, I guess the other very relevant question is, where are they?
And at that, he looks you over. The four of you, though, well, the three, he doesn't really notice the cat, but the four of you, and he says, do you three speak on behalf of this camp?
I'd say so.
Yes.
Yes.
Come with me. And he kind of begins walking in the same direction of the his like people were walking, though he doesn't go into the forest. He kind of keeps walking in the clearing there.
Okay. All right, who can we spare to come with us?
I'm already here, and I'm coming with you.
Thank you, Wesley.
Bruce
Anyone
sorta
else
shouts
coming?
out, "Are they hungry?"
I
Food.
maybe leave that for now. You're good at hitting things. If you could come along, I'd feel better.
Bruce sort of points to himself and then to Red and then himself and then to Red.
Look, both of you.
I follow.
He drops all of the animal carcasses that he's been carrying and just sort of like heads out.
So you guys kind of
Can
okay.
you put these away? He
Yeah.
says as he leaves.
So you hear some people scurrying and they pick up the animals and they're like, "He just throws them every." You hear people complaining about it. You just like threw them in the dirt and the snow, and they pick them up and like bring them over to like the cooking area to begin dressing the, the meat and all that stuff.
Okay. I guess we follow.
So you guys walk for maybe like 10 minutes, and the light kind of slowly. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask if it was getting dark, and if it is, Saoirse is going to cast a light on her brooch.
Yep, that it is definitely getting dark. It's not dark out, but because of the cloudy sky, it seems to be waning faster and faster. So you guys walk for maybe about 10 minutes through the snow. The camp kind of leaves your guys' view for the moment. He says, you kind of like, you get to a spot where the caravan kind of continues up more north, but you guys continue straight through the wilderness there. And you get to a spot on the side of a mountain where there seems to be not a carved trail, but it looks as though an area where you can go up this mountain. And he kind of just begins climbing it. It's an easy climb. It's essentially, hard terrain to climb. There's no check required.
Why are we going up the mountain?
It's complex. I asked where the black dragons went, and he's showing us something. And I'm really hoping it's not like all the black dragons, because that's going to be awkward.
Why do we want to see the dragons? Aren't those bad?
I mean,
Yes.
I'm hoping these are just answers to the questions, not a take me to the black dragon situation. Hey, this isn't a, you're not taking us to a dragon, are you?
He kind of like stops climbing as you guys are following him, and everyone, I imagine you guys all kind of stop moving, and he kind of turns back down to you and he says, "While I may die soon, I do not wish to die today." And then he turns and keeps climbing.
Well, that's reassuring, sort of. Okay, onwards.
And then you guys all, and the two kind of guards that were at, kind of like approached him when you guys did, continue all up the this hill. And it takes a little bit. You guys do climb for a little while. You take a few minute breaks here and there, and you realize you're quickly getting higher and higher and higher up into the air as you kind of work your way up this mountain. Maybe even a level of exhaustion kind of kicks in with you guys, and it doesn't affect you directly, but you feel the strain of this type of hiking up into this wilderness. And you get to a point where it appears as though a tree kind of is like laying over the this kind of like stone path, and the man kind of ducks under it, and you guys kind of duck under it as well. And upon looking at you, come to the realization that this is a massive skeleton of a dragon that is kind of draped across this portion of the hill. Kind of had collapsed here and died at some point in the past. And the man continues to walk up and walk up and walk up. And as you get higher and higher up into these mountains, it's not as if you're seeing more of the sun, but it seems like the sunset is slowing down for you guys as you kind of move up. You get to a spot where he walks up into a flat part, and you guys catch up to him, and you realize you're looking out over a huge section of the northern landscape. Way down back to the west, the corner of your eyes, you see a faint light glowing, which is the camp that you guys are from. And then as you kind of look out over the north, you largely see nothing. You see darkness. You see tree lines, clearings, and almost nothing. And he and after a moment, he looks at you guys and he says, "Give it a minute." And a few minutes kind of go by. And way, way out in the distance, you think you see a bird flying through the air. And as you kind of look closer and you really kind of like look at it, you notice that it is in fact a massive black dragon soaring over the trees, kind of close to the tree line. And it kind of like it lands somewhere in the trees and kind of vanishes out. And he looks at you guys and he says, "This is what we run from."
Ah, well, that's a very rational response. And the undead?
He points kind of like to the northeast. And as you look that way, you see a large area where the tree lines kind of like end, and it's just a massive clearing. From this distance, it's hard to tell, but they don't look like healthy pine trees.
Ah,
Blood over there is really taking hold.
so just an estimate. How far off are all these? Is the colossal black dragon and the undead? The likely patch of undead.
If you were to estimate, it would probably be on good train. It's probably like a 2 days march from the camp to the undead, but because it's wilderness and forest and things like that, it'd probably take a lot longer for you guys. Sorry, had a coughing fit there. The dragon, however, looks much, much farther away.
Okay. Well, I guess small victories. Thank you for showing this to us.
And right as you kind of like you thank him and you kind of go to look away, the large majority of you, somewhere way off in the north, in the top of one of the mountains, you see a almost as if someone shone a flashlight at you guys. It obviously wasn't, but it's like that flickering of like a white light that just kind of like a star, like almost like just flickered in the mountains, then quickly went out. And the man did not see this. Like he kind of like was turning away as this that like flickered off as you guys were looking out over the landscape. And
You know of
go ahead.
anyone else who survived?
He says, to my knowledge, you are the only ones that remain.
Is the light still going?
No, it like flickered and then like went off.
Okay. Saoirse would like to try and make an estimate of where it was.
Sure. You can
Okay.
roll you're a cartographer. Yeah, why don't you roll one of your like tool checks, I guess. We'll use your history and knowledge of that.
Okay.
Directly north to the assumption of what you were told where the town of Lordim used to be. There are mountains that surround the northernmost part of the town of Lordim, and that was the former main city of the north. It appears to have came from the mountains directly above where that city used to be.
Okay. Well, there's something alive in Lordim. Or above it, anyway.
Hmm. City. Hmm.
That's good information. Well, thank you so much for your assistance. Is there anything we can do to help you?
And the man kind of sits down on the rock, like a rock that was kind of sitting there, kind of leaning forward. And he says, as of right now, I think I'll be okay. And he kind of just kind of sits there.
Okay. Well, the expedition is open to any future dialogue you wish.
He looks down at his
What the heck was that?
I don't know what that was. He looks down at his like far below. You kind of see like the last of the torches of his people, kind of like disappearing around like a different rocky outcropping as they continued on. And he says, "I don't have much time left, but I will gladly help you, I will gladly assist you as much as I can." And he gets up to kind of like go back down the mountain.
Right, well, Saoirse follows.
And
Left behind me.
actually, at that, I think we're going to end the session. We are about 11 minutes past midnight. So, and just getting to the 3-hour mark. So I think we're going to end the session there, and we'll kind of pick up at this point next time.
Cool.
This is a chilling one.
So this session was
No.
big, throwing you guys a lot of different things that are kind of going on. I'm really interested to see what you guys choose to do in the next session. But at that, I'd love you guys to say all goodbye to the stream. You guys had a fan today. So Goat GM out there was cheering you guys on, helping you guys succeed at your roles there. But yeah.
We love you.
Everyone
Well,
out
thanks
there,
for watching.
thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll see you guys all next time.
See
Bye.
ya.
Yeah, bye.